Hi everybody, Paz here. In 2024, we're reeling in our goal of 1,000 subscribers. If you love Perth fishing, please give that button a click. Cheers.
Welcome back to Swan River Snapshots. Last episode, I reviewed my flathead exploits for the season. This week, my schedule wasn't cooperating, and I was too busy to fish, so I decided to do something different than my usual stuff. I wanted to take a snapshot of the Swan River that is not really meant for public celebration. It concerns feral fish species in WA, namely carp. I've gone fishing for carp a few times over the years, but I don't anymore, for reasons I'll explain later on. With a busy week ahead, I wanted to look at the legal, biosecurity and other issues that come with feral fishing, and how it influenced my own angling. This week's snapshot: examine the impact feral species have on our native river, check out the impact carp are having in detail, and maybe shed some light on the legalities of targeting ferals. Hope this is enlightening. Before we begin, I want to stress that the following video is my opinion. I'm not here to tell people what to do or to get on my high horse. Swan River Snapshots is a series where I attempt to satisfy my own curiosity about our beautiful river. The topic of feral fish and feral species in general is always going to be one that brings out a lot of strong opinions for people. I'd be interested in hearing some of them in the comments below, respectfully of course. So, with this in mind, let's get into it. I only had half an hour after work to check out some areas. No point taking a rod and making the longer travel to my usual swan fishing grounds. Instead, I took only some hiking boots and headed down to various locations along the upper canning and wetland systems. In a few, the carp were on full display, swimming around just under the surface. The footage doesn't do them justice. There were a few there approaching 60 to 70 centimetres long, and there were a lot of them. Introduced to Australia as early as the 1850s, carp have become a prolific pest in Australian waterways. They're freshwater fish that feed by sucking up food and sediment from the water bottom. They are large, hardy and prolific breeders, and have become the dominant freshwater species in many parts of Australia. In Perth, they occupy many ponds, lakes and rivers, and can rapidly deteriorate the surrounding environment due to their damaging feeding and breeding habits. As for the Swan River system, they can be found in the canning, upstream of Kent Street Weir, and surrounding wetlands. Several attempts have been and are being made to lessen carp numbers in Australia, including electric fishing, where they fish with electric currents to dispatch and round up huge numbers of carp. Also, the tagging and releasing of large breeding carp to discover and eradicate spawning grounds when the tagged specimens return. Despite their status as a feral species, anglers often target carp for their strong fight and larger size. However, this has led to even more problems, with people willingly introducing feral carp to native waterways for no other reason than to fish for them, an act both illegal and irresponsible. This extends to people introducing carp and koi to a system for aesthetic reasons. Yes, they're pretty, but they're not native. If a carp is caught, it should be dispatched humanely, not released or returned to a water source. While somewhat normalised in the eastern states, feral fishing in Perth comes with a fair amount of stigma, as carp are prolific in many ponds, lakes and artificial waterways belonging to private citizens or councils. How these carp came to be there is a matter of some debate, though a decent case can be made for reasons such as migration through connecting waterways and pipes, and intentional introduction for sport or aesthetics. The laws surrounding fishing for carp are tenuous and unclear at best, and while fishing for invasive species is not illegal, they cannot be kept or transported alive. Also, many carp locations are on council land, and fishing can bring problems via council regulation. Many an angler has been sent packing from a location due to this. Also, as anglers, I'm sure we've all encountered a Karen or a Ken who claim to know the fishing laws better than us or anyone, and aren't shy about letting us know. So, where exactly does this leave us right now? Well, I'm no expert, but when thinking of this issue, I came up with a few recurring points. Firstly, this is Perth, not the eastern states. Over east, carp are everywhere. Some areas have competitions where anglers can target carp in bulk, people can fish, and some ferals get removed from waterways. Win-win. We can't do that here. While carp are a problem, Their spread is mainly around the Upper Canning and various other ponds and water bodies across the metro area. Yes, they're here, and they're a problem, but a lot of the practices the East has adopted will not be feasible here. For example, the locations are too spotty for competitions. Secondly, the carp issue is complex, and we can only really hope that anglers, conservationists and regulatory bodies can work together to find something that can be done. Thirdly, anglers targeting carp the right way, i.e. humanely dispatching them and not returning them to waterways, etc., can be part of the solution, if properly regulated. Next, there needs to be a greater push to educate the public on feral fish and ferals in general. Knowledge is power, and many conflicts can be resolved if people are made aware of the facts and laws. And finally, and in a broad sense, we can apply one of the most accurate comments of society to this. Generally, most people out there want to do the right thing, whether it be to fish responsibly or to take care of our water systems. However, there are always that minority who do not, who ignore or flaunt the rules and attempt to do things that are either not accepted or downright illegal. And this is where we have a problem. Now personally, I no longer target carp. I prefer my regular Perth species anyway. In my own mind, and again I need to stress that this is my opinion, I simply cannot reconcile the sport of catching them with the negative impact they have and their distribution is having to native wildlife. Also, for me personally, carp aren't exactly the tidiest things to deal with, and they're a horrible table fish. Therefore, I'll keep my fishing to my usuals. As I've moved through a few locations in the wetlands over the years, it's painfully obvious that carp are present in significant numbers. In relatively closed waterways, they have proliferated to the point where it's insane. The impact these invasive species have on native waterways cannot be understated. To be honest, I really don't have an issue not targeting them anymore. Biosecurity of our native waterways is important to me. However, I'm not here to stand on a soapbox. My opinion is this: as with all fishing, please do your research, know the rules, be respectful of our wonderful river system, and fish responsibly. Snapshot complete. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Or don't. Either way, I'm still going fishing, just not for carp. This video is dedicated to my 2 sons. This is Paz, wishing you fair winds and tight lines. Until next time.